A Jmix exclusive.
Hello everybody, this is Jmix here with TupacNation.net, and today I bring you part 2 of our interview with death row producer Kurt Kobane. In this segment of the interview, we're going to talk about some real sensitive subjects. We're going to talk about the Sam Sneed Beatdown. We're going to talk about whether or not Tupac was a gang member, and we're going to talk about an incident that happened in Cabo San Lucas. Special shout out to Kurt. He didn't have to tell us these things, and in honor of Tupac's 42nd birthday, I think it's time to let the truth out. So here's part 2. Can you tell us about the Sam Sneed Beatdown?
Yeah, I was right there in front of Sam Sneed when he got beat down, that was crazy day, a crazy evening. I mean, because I had see, this is something that nobody else knows. This is a bomb. This is an exclusive. I seen Sam Sneed when he came into the little area where we were eating, like a little kitchen area in Can-Am, and he was sitting there talking to Pac, and he told Pac that he had a beat for him, and Pac was like, "Oh, okay, cool, homie." Like, it was no problem. You know what I mean? But once we got in that meeting, it was a different atmosphere. It was crazy because at the time, nobody even knew Dre had left Death Row. It was all exposed in that meeting. And that's when I was like, wow, this is real. This is for real around here. Because, you know, they had Sam Sneed in there. They started playing the video that he had that had, like, a lot of New York people in the video. I know Wu-Tang was in the video. I can't remember everybody else that was in the video. But after the video, they was like, shit was like, Rage, was you in the video? She's like, no. Daz, Crump, was you in the video? They're like, no. Snoop, was you in the video? No. Pac, was you in the video? No. Then it's like, Sam Sneed, are you on Death Row Records? He was like, yeah. And he's like, why is there no Death Row Records people in your video? You know what I mean? And it just went downhill from that point for Sam Sneed.
Do you think that they were targeting Sam Sneed because they couldn't get to Dre at that particular moment?
At that particular moment, yeah, because it went, like I said, started going down. Yeah, it went to Ray. Do you got any tracks from Sam Sneed? She was like, no. Such and such. Do you got any tracks from Sam Sneed? And somebody was like, well, he said he would charge me for some tracks, and it was like, Sam, you're on Death Row Records. What are you charging Death Row artists for tracks? You know what I mean? And it was kind of weird to me. I was like, Pac, I swear I just heard this dude tell you that, you know, in my head, I was like, Pac, I know Sam Sneed told you he got music for you, but in the meeting, Pac never brought that up. So I knew at that point there's nothing Sam Sneed can say or do to change the outcome of what was going to happen. And then it went into questions about Dre and Dre being gay, and, you know, like I said, it was downhill from that point. It was crazy because Miss LA said that she had called Dre at the house, and that Bruce, who, you know, I think Bruce even wrote that book, Rolling with Dr. Dre. The Bruce guy, from my understanding, was a stripper. And that's what they got to be talking about in the meeting. Like, what dude goes to a strip club and sees a male stripper and starts hanging with him? So it was like, all these things about Dre's manhood started being questioned. And then Michelle A. came with the story that Dre was actually in the bed with Bruce. She called Dre, and Bruce answered the phone, and she was like, where are you? And he was like, oh, I'm in bed. And she's like, where's my husband? And he like gave Dre the phone. Dre was like, what's up? And it was like, the question was like, what the fuck are they doing in the bed together? These are the stories that were coming out of people's mouths, you know what I'm saying, at that meeting.
In reference to that, what was Trevon Lane, Neckbone, and Buntry's role at Death Row? Were they artists or just on the payroll?
No, they were like, those are Suge's homies. You know what I'm saying? Those are people that Suge trusted, that he had around him from the neighborhood. And they were like the coolest people in the world. You know what I mean? Like, they were the coolest dudes you can ever be around. You wouldn't even think they were gangbangers. I mean, these dudes were like, man, we come to the studio, they would joke, they would hang with us. they would hang in the room, the so-called whack room, Neckbone, Buntree, Trade, they'll be in that room with us. But they all had Death Row chains.
You had said that they were gang members. Was Tupac also a gang member?
At the end, yeah, he was blood. He was MOB, he was mob.
Kurt, did you ever hear about a Lakewood Mall incident where Trevon Lane had a death row medallion snatched away from him at any time before Tupac passed?
Nah, it never was common talk, or, it was never brought up. I knew Trey, you know what I'm saying? So it wasn't nothing that I can actually remember hearing about. He got his chain snatched at the Lakewood Mall. I don't never remember not seeing him with his chain, put it like that. To the point where I would say, why he ain't got his chain on tonight or whatever. It was never no situation like that. I would have known about that situation, because that would have been more. Yeah, I would have known about it, because that would have been more reason for me, Danny Boy, and us, our little clique, not to be doing some of the things we were doing. Like we would leave the camp and the whole area and go to Crenshaw to a fast food restaurant or something. That would have been more reason to be like, dude, we can't be out here like this, without the whole camp moving at one time.
What do you think of David Kenner?
Oh, man, David Kenner was like this. He was like a cartoon character. He was like the little mouse. You know what I mean? Like the little mischievous mouse-looking dude. You know what I'm saying? His presence when he came in the room was like a mobster. Like he worked for the mob or something. But actually he was the coolest, coolest dude around. He didn't talk much, but I got a chance to be around David Kenner a lot because he did my contracts. But like I said, Kenner was like this quiet little mobster, little mousy-looking dude.
Would you care to tell us about Cabo San Lucas? Did you get to go on that trip when Tupac was released from jail?
Oh, yeah, well, not everybody, but, yeah, we went to Cabo. This was actually, the Cabo trip was actually in celebration of Snoop getting acquitted, for the murder trial. That was the reason for going to Cabo. It was really to celebrate that. And while we were out there, we were going to shoot Danny Boy's Slip and Slide video, which we did shoot that video.
Would you like to speak on the incident where you were jumped in?
Yeah, okay. The whole situation with the mob, I was jumped into the mob in Cabo San Lucas, which was like the craziest night ever. Because that also was a night I seen somebody get what they call the death row violation for something that they did that I prided myself on not doing, which was, there's certain things you got to know. You got to know how to maneuver around in situations like this to not get yourself involved in a lot of bad events or things that can happen to you. I talked to you about this before. Like, we had an artist that was hanging around us, and we told him, like, okay, just stay around us. Don't try to become a groupie. Don't be hanging around. Don't go hang around another clique of people just because you're trying to get up around Snoop or get around Pac. Allow these people to naturally gravitate towards you, because it's noticed if you're going to be that type of person. And if something was to happen, it's going to happen to you first, because you're being a groupie. And people don't know you, and you need to just know what you're doing. Like, when celebrities come around, sometimes I wouldn't even go to the studio. Like, if, say, Mary J. Blige was at the studio, I wouldn't go to the studio just because Mary J. Blige is there, and especially if I didn't have nothing to do. If I was there to record or to work on some material, I would do it, but I wouldn't go there just to hang because she's there, because, believe it or not, people notice that, should notice that, and that was one of the biggest things, like, don't be a male groupie. I had a friend that, I guess, he was always up in studio sessions, and he was there with us that night in Cabo. So the night that I got jumped in the mob, they took him in a different room, and it was like Pac, Hammer, and a whole bunch of people were there, and I was like, what the fuck are they doing to him? You know what I'm saying? Like, and once he, later on that night we talked, and I was like, what happened with you? And he's like, man, they was like saying I was a groupie, that I was up in people's faces and this and that, and I'm like, wow. I said, what happened though? He's like, man, they had Danny Boy like try to beat me up, like his own friend. You know what I'm saying? So it was like that was a crazy night, but also was a learning experience to know what to do and what not to do. And I guess I was being tested the whole time that I was at the studio and had been coming to Can-Am, and it led up to that night where he's in and this dude's kind of out. And I've had a perfect relationship with Suge ever since then. I would always go to him for anything.
Can you describe to us what happened when you were jumped in?
We was so drunk already that day, drinking tequila and all types of crazy shit I had never drunk before. And we just get a call, that we want to all meet up somewhere. So me, Danny, my little homeboy Troy, goes by the name of Little Man. He has a career in the music business now. We get in this van with a whole bunch of groupie girls, and all of a sudden the van, I'm noticing, damn, we're going somewhere that's deep in Mexico. Like, there's no lights and shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like this little-ass road that we're going down. So we get to this area, it's like a park or something. I can't even tell you what it was. It just had lights. And I noticed it was Pac, Hammer, Dog Pound, David Kenner, the lawyer, was there. Everybody was there. And it was just a weird thing, you know what I'm saying? Then they called Danny out. I seen Suge grab Danny around the neck, playfully, wrestling with him. Then they talking. Then they holler out to get Troy. And they take Troy out, and he's standing there. And then I hear my name. I'm like, oh, I'm drunk. So it's like everything's party time for me. So I'm getting out with a smile on my face, like nothing's going on. So I'm standing there, and then Suge is looking at us, and he said, you know what? You've been around, he's giving me the speech about you've been around a long time to not know what's going on. You with my people. He considered Danny his son. He's like, man, you with my son every day. It's almost like your family. He started talking this family talk, which now I look back as that's like some mobster talk, you know what I mean? And it was I heard somebody say, do we think it's a joke? Do we think we playing? I don't know if I was drunk with a smile on my face or something, but I knew that, I don't know if they think I was taking this serious, because Troy must have been looking kind of scary, but I was just looking at people in their eyes trying to figure out what's going on, because I'm kind of drunk at the same time. And next thing I know, it was boom, 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 boom. It's the jump in situation, you know what I mean? And then it just stops. And I'm I get up, okay, what the fuck? In my mind, it's what the fuck was this situation? But it was no panic on me, you know what I mean? And Suge is looking at me. Then he says, you have no worries ever. If anything is bothering you, let me know. If anybody's bothering you, let me know. If you have any situation with anybody, let me know. You family. And I'm looking at, first of all, I'm looking at the lawyer, because I'm this shit just happened in front of a damn lawyer. You know what I mean? And I'm the lawyer is sitting there, and then I know it's Pac, and, then they took Troy somewhere else. But I know I had a busted lip, and I remember Pac was gave me some tissue to wipe the blood off, and Hammer was grabbed me, we were all, it was just a totally different situation with me and them. It was you're in type thing. So that was a jump in. Nobody knows about that from those details. This is an exclusive MOB jump in situation that nobody knows about. And from that point on, I was with the mob, Pyro Blood.
So you're now saying definitively that Tupac was indeed a gang member?
Yeah. He was definitely Pyro Blood.
I want to thank everybody for listening. Stay tuned for more with Kurt Kobane. It's going to get even hotter, folks. There's some exclusive stories in here that you've never heard. We're going to keep it coming, and we're going to keep it live only on TupacNation.net.